A boulder of a man, meditative, spiritual, warrior philosopher. TAI KALISO was as tough as a brumac, one of my favourite underrated characters in Gears of War lore. Hopefully this video will show you why. As always, I'm your host Abz, and here is the very sad story behind TAI KALISO. His story begins 4 years before Emergence Day during the Pendulum Wars, on his homeland, Iroma Island. In 4 BE, Iroma was attacked by the Union of Independent Republics. While the main tribal forces defended the village, TAI began stalking UIR squads and taking them out one by one as they moved through the jungle. He stalked a UIR patrol that was heading towards his village, slitting the rear Indie's throat, and then jumped onto the next one and stabbed him in the neck. He then grabbed the Indie's weapon and shot the other 2 members of the patrol as they tried to attack him. TAI then headed back to his village, but was horrified to discover that it had been destroyed by the UIR in his absence, with everyone in it being brutally slaughtered. In the words of TAI, some have said that war is hell. War is not hell, for in hell, innocence is spared. When a man has nothing left, when everything has been taken from him, he becomes his enemy's worst nightmare. TAI continued his tactics of hunting down indie squads in revenge, determined to become the Indie's worst nightmare. During a rainstorm, TAI stalked a lone man and prepared to shoot him with an arrow. But the man was none other than Marcus Phoenix himself. Marcus said, "Wouldn't do that if I were you. Look, I'm not going to give you a bunch of bullshit. The UIR came through and massacred your people. I know. I'm with a coalition of ordered governments, and we're here to get rid of them. We could use your help, but again, I'm not going to bullshit you. We're not saints, but we are going to win this fucking war, and I'd rather have you on the winning side." Marcus saw the warrior that TAI was, and knew he would have been of great use to the COG. In TAI's words, when a man has nothing left, he is ready for change. And so TAI joins the coalition of ordered governments. 3 years later, in the Battle of Asphalt Fields, during the Pendulum Wars, TAI was taking indie names like nobody's business, avenging his family, friends and the rest of his people. We see him destroy 2 soldiers with relative ease. As he went over to make sure they were dead, he heard one of the soldiers talking about wanting to see his family again and how he loved them. TAI gave comfort to the passing soldier until his soul passed on, telling him to be at peace and that his family knew. In TAI's words, "My people believed that the body was sacred, but only when a soul dwelled within. Once a soul had passed, the body was but a husk." So then he uses the body as a meat shield and killed 2 more indie soldiers that had been trying to sneak up on him. He ends this fight by saying, "Your enemy forgives you." Then we fast forward 15 years later, 6 months after the light mass bombing at Timgad, which took place at the end of Gears of War 1. The COG drove to Landdown in order to drill down into the Hollow. TAI rode on Rig D14 on the road to the city. His assault derrick was in the rear guard, and TAI's rig joined up with Delta's near the city, having managed to avoid being attacked en route to the city. However, it was destroyed by tickers the moment it entered the city, killing TAI's entire squad. But TAI, being the boulder of a man that he is, somehow survived, and he joined up with Delta 1 once again. Dom said, "Marcus, is that TAI?" To which Marcus responded, "Yeah, told you he was tough to kill." TAI said, "Fate has thrown us together again, huh Marcus?" Marcus told him it was good to have him back, and that he was sorry about his squad, but TAI responded that everything happened for a reason. Hours later, in the Landdown assault, Locust High Priest and new general, Scourge, attacks and cuts a rig in half with his chainsaw staff. Gear soldier Dizzy told Marcus and Dom, "I'll hold him off boys, get your asses down there," as in down there into the Hollow. But TAI comes out of nowhere. He jumped out of his grind lift to help Dizzy and to protect everyone else. And so TAI began to fight Scourge. In the words of TAI, every warrior has an equal, an opposing force, equal in strength. Because TAI was a monster of a man, he was holding his own against a damn Locust general, whose size, speed and durability was far superior. He was taking it to Scourge, but slowly, Scourge began to get the upper hand. TAI said, "Every warrior has a superior, an opposing force that he cannot overcome." TAI screams to Dizzy, "Go, now, go," because he knew he was done for, and Dizzy would be next. Dizzy hesitated for a second, but TAI shouted again, "Go!" Dizzy was a force in his own right, as most Gears would be, but if a warrior like TAI stood little to no chance, then Dizzy would have been outright mauled, so Dizzy escaped. TAI was unfortunately defeated and taken captive. He and others were led into the Hollow and brutally processed, and then imprisoned on a torture barge. This is where we begin to see the downfall of TAI. In the words of TAI, "My grandfather once told me that a soul will leave its body when it is time. Not always at death. When the body becomes a prison, it is time for the soul to escape. And once the soul is gone, the body will follow soon after. There is the light. There is the void. There is the darkness. Rest in peace, TAI KALISO." So, that, my friends, is the very sad story behind TAI KALISO. Now you may understand why he's one of my many favourite characters from the Gears of War universe, as he didn't have a long-standing appearance in the franchise, but his character development and storytelling made me love him very much. Drop a like if you enjoyed this lore video, subscribe for more similar content like this, and I'll also leave a link at the top right corner of the screen if you want to watch my other lore videos as well. I'm your host Abz, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.